Believe people when they show you who they are. Believe people when they show you who they are. Let me read you something. Accept people as facts. If you come across any special trait of meanness or stupidity, you must be careful not to let it annoy or distress you, but to look upon it merely as an addition to your knowledge, a new fact to be considered in studying the character of humanity. Your attitude towards it will be that of the mineralogist who stumbles upon a very characteristic specimen of a mineral. Words by Arthur Schopenhauer. Let me proceed. Interactions with people are the major source of emotional turmoil, but it doesn't have to be that way. The problem is that we are continually judging people, wishing they were something that they are not. We want to change them. In coaching, I often say mold them. We want to mold other people. Same as changing them. We want them to think and act a certain way, most often the way we think and act. And because this is not possible, because everyone is different, we are continually frustrated and upset. Does this sound familiar? Instead, see other people as a phenomena, as neutral as comets or plants. They simply exist. They come in all varieties, making life rich and interesting. Work with what they give you instead of resisting and trying to change them. Make understanding people a fun game, the solving of puzzles. It is all part of the human comedy. Yes, people are irrational, but so are you. Make your acceptance of human nature as radical as possible. This will calm you down and help you observe people more dispassionately, understanding them on a deeper level. You will stop projecting your own emotions onto them. All of this will give you more balance and calmness, more mental space for thinking. And the daily law says, examine the faults you see in others and how they are in you as well. From the daily laws. I read that daily law just over a couple of weeks ago, and it really stuck with me because this is something that shows up all the time when coaching a client. I'm always hearing about other people and how irrational and toxic they are. I even often hear terms like gaslighting and narcissism, which are often thrown out pretty loosely these days, right? Well, if you followed me for years, you know that I always say, believe people when they show you who they are. I have it on a note card. Because when you do, you will release the negative energy that you feel. And again, just like the excerpt that I read from the Daily Law, we too can be irrational. We too can be toxic. We are just as guilty, but because we see ourselves often better than we really maybe are, and that doesn't mean that we view ourselves in a negative way, but we often see ourselves better than we do others. And it's because we think that how we do things, how we show up, what our thoughts, our beliefs are, is correct. And so we judge other people or think that they're extreme or irrational or toxic or whatever you throw out there, because they are different than you. But you need to welcome change. Do you want everyone to be like you? Where would the variety be? People are interesting. If you learn the art of using your 2 ears in one mouth, that means you will listen more than you will speak. If you listen with openness, instead of listening to come back by challenging the person or chiming in something about you, you will actually find that people are very interesting. We don't want to mold them to be like us. It would take that interest away. I share today's video to help you in a couple of ways. Number one, just simply believing people when they show you who they are. That will release so much of your anxiety, your tension. You will go to gatherings and parties, and with the holidays coming up, Thanksgiving's right around the corner, and then we're bam, right into the Christmas parties. You'll be around a lot of loved ones. But if you believe people when they show you who they are, you shouldn't go to any of these events expecting something is going to change. If you have a loved one who always shows up in a certain way, they're probably still going to show up in that certain way. So why are you leaving your gathering surprised by their behavior? Why are you complaining on the way home to your spouse or significant other about how you just can't believe this person did this, said that, whatever? But they always do. This is on you, because you're simply not believing people when they show you who they are. Just like people are believing you for showing who you are. Maybe the complainer, leaving all the get-togethers complaining about everyone else when you have your own issues, where you have your own faults as well. No one is perfect, right? But if you open your mind and you listen to people, listen to understand, instead of listening to come back with whatever it is that you come back with, but listen to understand, you'll find that people are really unique and they're very interesting. And yes, they're different than you. They have different beliefs, and that's okay, right? Do you want everyone to believe as you do? If you do, you may have to challenge yourself why that is. Why do I need this control that everyone needs to see eye to eye as me or have the same values or beliefs? I do things awfully strange. I mean, I get up at 3 in the morning. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I don't want anyone to be like me. I don't even want to tell people. I don't even want to share that with my loved ones because I know how I can be viewed, right? But it makes me interesting. It makes me interesting because what I do in the first 4 hours of my morning is magical. And if anyone else could taste that, they may find it magical as well. What I do is quite interesting, even if it comes off rather bizarre. Think creatively, but we have to open our ears. We have 2 of them. Remember, 1 mouth, 2 ears. We have to open them up and learn the art of listening to understand, to be open to other people's differences and accepting of it. If they have quirks about them or nuances that drive you crazy, start to see it from a different angle. How does this make them unique? How does this make them creative? Really pay attention. Look at people's facial expressions, their eyes, their mouth, their body language. You'll learn a lot about others, but we're so caught up in our own bubble of how we do things. Let it go. Expand yourself. I often say there's 2 types of attitudes in this world. There's negative and narrow, and positive and expansive. If you're so judgmental of other people because they're not seeing things showing up the way that you do, you're probably pretty negative and narrow. But if you're open to other people's interesting sides and the things that they share, even though it's a contrast to you, you may be more positive and expansive. So I challenge you as we approach the holiday season, knowing you are going to be around loved ones, acquaintances, coworkers, at all these get-togethers. You're going to see people on a deeper level. I say that as today I'm all dressed up in my black halo Jackie O dress that I've had forever, my funeral dress, because in just a couple of hours I will be attending my grandmother's funeral. She passed 3 days ago on her 96th birthday. Beautiful. What an interesting lady, right? And I will be around so many loved ones. We have loved ones that have traveled from afar. It's going to be a family reunion, as funerals often are. But I'm going to go today knowing that everyone I'm around, we all are different. We're unique in our own ways. And I enjoy that. I'm excited to hear about other people and what interests them, right? I challenge you today to look inside. And where can you do the work? Believe people when they show you who they are, but that doesn't mean in a negative way. Because people are believing you for showing up how you are, and you're a contrast to them. Do you want them to judge you the way you're judging them? Something to consider. Please be sure to check out my previous videos. I've had a lot of great topics like this that are pretty deep messages. Also, make sure you're signed up for my newsletter that comes out a couple of days per week. I'm sharing Christmas gift recommendations. I'm not doing the Christmas gift guides this year. I'm strictly sharing them all in a newsletter, and then I'm holding them in a blog post. So I will have a link to get to all of that, but you'll have a link to get subscribed to my newsletter, and that will come out every Friday, and then it will come out on any day that a video publishes. So for today, a newsletter will go out, and sometimes I add other nuggets in there. But yeah, love for you to weigh in. What came up for you today? I will also have a link to this book that I started reading earlier this year. It's been great. It's really challenged my thoughts. Not every day's law is something that speaks to me, but I always make sure I read through it twice. I do an initial read, and then I study what the law is for the day, and I see how it can apply to me or how it can apply to my work. Right? Helping others see and live their potential, helping others live a mastery life. But you have to master yourself and master your emotions in order to even move the needle on living a mastery life. If you can't master yourself, how are you going to master your life? You have to master your emotions, right? So check it out. Links to everything in the description box below. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you right here back on YouTube. And be sure to be watching me on Instagram stories with daily nuggets there just like this. Take care.